So one of the first things they talk about in section 2 is the coordinate plane. This stuff we should be familiar with. This is the coordinate plane with the XY axes on it. If I were to plot this point, who can tell me what the coordinates of that point are? 2, 1. The coordinates of that point are 2, 1. Now what letter does that 2 represent? X. So this is an ordered pair, X, Y. Okay, any value on the coordinate plane, or any point on the coordinate plane. What's this point? Negative 2, 2. And how about this one? 1, negative 2. So we have 3 points there. So the next topic that we cover in this section is domain range. Domain are or is, whichever way you want to look at it, but domain are the X values. It's made up of the X values. So the way you will write that on your homework, when it asks for the domain, put the D, a little braces, you can work on making those. And what are the X values? If this was your problem over here, what are your X values? 2, negative 2, and 1. Very good. And you just list them. 2, negative 2, and 1. So what do you think your range is made up of? Range is made up of the Y value. And you'll do the same thing. You'll just have an R instead of a D. So for this particular problem, what's the range? Anyone? 1, 2, and negative 2. So looking over at your homework problems on page 62, that's a lot of what you're doing on here. They're just going to give you 3 or 4 sets of numbers. You list the domain and the range. Okay? Domain are the X values. Range are the Y values. The next thing they will ask you is whether, well, first, we'll get to that. The next thing they're going to ask you is whether it is a function or not. And here's how you tell. If every X value is paired with only one Y value, it is a function. Okay? If every X value is paired with one and only one Y value, it is a function. So looking there at page 58 and the top of page 59, I'll show you how to do those in your homework. There won't be a whole lot of writing on your homework. You're basically going to list the domain and the range and then say whether it is a function or not. So looking at that first one, at the bottom of page 58, that first mapping there, what is your domain on that one? $12, $15, and 8, and your range is 20, 30, and 20. So is that 12 paired with more than one Y value? No, it's got one line. Is the 15 paired with more than one? No, how about the 8? So that is a function. At the top of the next page, we don't need to do that first one, but the one in the middle, how many numbers is the negative 1 paired with? One value. Is that okay? How about the 1? How many is it paired with? 1. How about the 4? Now, what's different about that? there's two numbers that are pointing to the same y. That's fine. It's still a function. As long as each x is only paired with one number, it's a function. So look at that next one. You can see the -3 is paired with the 0 and the 6. So it's paired with two numbers. That one is not a function. Questions?
So if it's negative ones on this side, like two different numbers on this side, it's a function, but if
Right.
they're the same one.
Right. So basically, if there's a value, if there's an x that has more than one line from it, and this number's not the same, then it is not a function.
And if it is the same number, then it is a function.
Yeah, because it'd be paired with the same 3. If it's paired
It's in
with 2.
different spots.
Yeah, that would be, which I don't think there'll be any like that. But just every single x, you have to make sure it's only paired with one y. Now, that's if they give you points. Sometimes they'll just give you a graph and ask you, is this a function? So you don't have the points. In that case, you have to use the vertical line test. It's kind of hard to define the vertical line test, so this definition might be a little confusing, but when I show you how to use it, I think it'll be all right. No vertical line can be drawn that hits the graph more than once. It is a function. If no vertical line can be drawn that hits the graph more than once, it is a function. I'll give you two examples of what we're talking about. So again, you use the vertical line test when they give you a graph. If you're just looking at a graph, then you use the vertical line test. So if this was the graph, this was your homework problem, it might look something like this. The graph, when it talks about the graph here, it's talking about whatever's drawn on here. So that is the graph. So if I draw a vertical line right here, how many times did I hit the graph? One time, right here. If I draw one here, how many times? Just once. If I draw one here, just once. Is there any place I can draw a vertical line that's going to hit this more than one time? No. So that one is a function. And then an easy one, if they have something that looks like that, can I draw a vertical line that will hit that more than once? Yeah, about anywhere. So if I draw a vertical line right here, I clearly hit that more than one time. That one is not a function.
So if it hits it more than once, it's not.
If it does hit it, then it's not a function.